We were going to auctions and trying to go up to the second bidder that lost the bid and giving him our card and trying to sign them up. So that's what we're doing. We're driving down in our car. We're going to all these auctions. We get
What
like
car?
6. We had my old Toyota Hilux. In suits. We're trying to go down there and trying to sign up for people. And they're like, just looking at us like, you guys look like kids.
So we brought on 4 full-timers because of 2 good months. And that's when...
It went like this.
When we started... So that's the point where we lost 60 grand a month for 3 months. We started the business in 2019. Frank and I went away. And our business plan, everything, you can throw all the books and all the things that you should have done when starting a business, we didn't do right. But all we did is we just wrote down like it was a massive A3 piece of paper. But we still have those things. And just like there's no roles, there's no org charts, there's no whatever. But the one thing that has been there from the start is...
Welcome to the Level Me podcast, where we rise to the level of those around us. And today we have Adrien and Frank from Freshstart Advisory. These 2 boys are my very, very close friends. We met when I was living back in Melbourne. They run an amazing buyers agency, not just based in Melbourne. They buy around the country. And I think they're up to about 15 staff now. So I'm pretty keen to see how they've built out their business and what they've done. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my friend.
Mate, I'm super wrapped. You told me you were coming into the GC and wanted to hang out. So thanks for coming to say hi. Take me back. How did you 2 meet each other?
How did we meet each other, Frank? We were... Can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, go for it, man.
We were fucking around in the parks and Frank, just being kids. We were 14 years old, 15 years old?
Yeah, 14, 15.
Wow.
Playing around. I actually was friends with Adrian's brother prior, so made friends with him. He was friends with other mates that I had. Met age. We all kept hanging out, getting up to no good when we were younger, and then just kept continuing from there. We were just doing what kids do, I guess. And
very stupid things.
Yeah, and then I think just one thing led to another, and we just kept hanging out, and now we are here. We are. We've got a business together, and it's going well.
And so, are you older or younger or same age?
Yeah, I'm old. I'm 31. Age is 29.
Are you? Oh,
I'm 29.
You're a spring chicken.
Still under 30.
You're so young. I'm so jealous. That's cool. And so I suppose I've been lucky enough to get to know you guys a little bit in the past, but give me a little bit of a backstory about yourselves. Like, what did high school look like? Adrien, we'll start with you. What did high school look like for you? What was growing up like? What was the household like? All that sort of stuff.
Come from a big Italian family. Very close with my entire family, both mum and dad's side. So really beautiful home, honestly. School was, I probably was not the best at school. I was very bad at school. Frank probably takes a cake though, he's probably worse, but very bad at school. Just wasn't really interested in school at all. I don't think I was, I was just bad at school. Just not good at school, not interested in it at all. Was always hard working, was always told to work very, very hard and did work hard throughout, creatively as well. So we always did kind of creative things with my brother. And then, got straight out of school, got into financial planning, which was awesome, AMP. And I took the piss because I was still in my young mind mentality. And then from there, got into my family's business. My family have a chauffeuring and private security company. And that was kind of my 2 real jobs before I got into what I'm in now. Worked a whole bunch of other jobs as well in between, but was never the best employee, let's say. I was a very bad employee. Not very good. Good with the family business.
Nice. Did you study financial planning?
Through AMP. So whilst I was there, so I got my diploma of financial planning. I wish I took it a bit more serious back when I was 19 years old, 20 years old. But I luckily got the chance to do that through AMP.
Nice. That's cool. And Frank?
Yeah, so my parents got divorced when I was probably 8 or 9. My mum was a hard worker, so she would work, 2 jobs when I was a kid, had to pay off the mortgage herself. My dad was completely opposite. Still love my dad, of course, but never worked a day in his life. So both chalk and cheese. I dropped out of school when I was 15, so I was bad at school. I had learning difficulties, so got labelled for these short-term memory, speech impediment, illiterate, whatever you name it. I had a teacher's aide from prep to grade 6. Year 9, that's when I left. I was that dumb. I'd done the AIMS test in year 9. I was at a grade 3 level, my literacy and numeracy skills. So school wasn't for me. always hard working. I used to work for my uncle a lot when I was a kid. So when I was in primary school, even like early in primary school days, my grandma got me a pair of overalls. So I used to run around his workshop. He was a mechanic. When I was from grade 5 onwards, every holidays I'd work with him for 2 weeks and just get, pocket money. And so then when I dropped out of school when I was 15, I said I'm going to become a mechanic, work with him. So I've done that up until I was about 26. And then I quit around 25 as a mechanic with my uncle. And I started getting into trucks because I was like, I was making $700 a week. Wasn't very, I looked at myself like, how am I going to have a family if I, carry this down this route? It's not for me. I didn't want to start a business as a mechanic. I was a bit lost. I didn't like it. I was going down that phase, and then got into truck driving for a little bit. I was like, what the hell? This is not for me. Nothing wrong with being a truck driver, but just it wasn't for me. And then got into property, started investing, made a lot of mistakes. And that's when Age at the same time, he was already in property earlier because he got 18 when you and I was 26 or 27. I purchased my first one, but then I purchased another couple and I made a couple of mistakes off the plan. And then that's when it all started crashing down. And then, I think that's when Adrien and I teamed up and said, let's do something. But I guess there was a lot more prior to that. But that's when we said, let's start something together.
That's pretty cool because you both kind of have a little bit of an entrepreneurial start in life, right? Like you had your parents' business and kind of saw their successes and failures and how they were operating. They were operating.
Yeah.
And dropping out at 15, there's trades you can go for, but you really have no other choice. Like you got to make life happen, right? Like you got to put your foot down. And I love that you said that you do want to start a business as a mechanic, but you chose something else, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did the buyer's agency business start out of both of your mistakes and stuff through property and wanting to show other people how to do it right?
Yeah, look, it started. So when I made my mistakes, prior to that, I was already invested in property. I was learning a lot about it. So I read a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Everyone's heard about it, but that's when the light bulb moment went on in my head, and I started learning about it. But then I got a buyer's agent or those ones that buy off the plan, and they bought a couple and they horribly failed. One fell 60 grand under valuation, and all these things started to happen. And so I was like, okay, well, I wanted to learn about this. So I was obsessed on the research, infrastructure, what makes market grow, understanding, all the fundamentals. And I started, leaning down that path. So I started finding a gift or something that I was actually good at, where as a kid or growing up, I was like, I'm only good with my hands as a mechanic. Hand-eye coordinated, very good with that, but that's it. And I was like, okay, I started learning and started leaning into that. And then I started copying and seeing what other people, like the best in this space, do. So your people like your Simon Presley, your Terry Riders, and everyone else that's, well qualified. I started leaning in and asking for help. Some of these guys were my mentors. And I was just obsessed with learning. And that's when Adrien was making moves in property. He made a couple of mistakes. And then he was like to me, I remember I wrote a goal, it's 2019, start a business with Adrien. That's when I started going like that, the mindset journey, and you start writing goals down. And it was 2020 or 2019. I think he's like, hey, you're the only person I'll do it with. And I'm like, I remember I was in the bus. I was a mechanic. And that's when I was working for someone else. I was a bus mechanic, and I was sitting there in the bus, and I remember sitting there. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Quit my job. We said, let's start it. We started in 2019, but 2020 is when the business, we started the ABN and all that. But we didn't know what we're doing. We just we've done this course. Let's go do it.
Why did you choose each other? Why did you write that down as a goal? And why did you approach Frank and be like, do you want to start this business? Were you guys super close at that age, or did you just see each other as both business minded, or had you had conversations about business together?
I'm casting my memory, but I think
that's when you were driving. Remember, I was driving trucks prior.
That's right.
We were always close.
Yeah.
But we would always talk every single day prior, even 2 years, 3 years before that. So when I was driving trucks, I was always driving.
And I was driving as well.
And he was driving, and we'll just talk about podcasts, talk about books. He would read this, read that. Yeah. We used to do accountability things. So once a week, we'll catch up and sit down and go over our week, and we'll set goals, challenges. And we didn't have a business or nothing, but we're just okay, what's going to push you to make be a better person? So we started doing that together. And then, I guess that's
I think we were both... Yeah, I think we were both just in the same kind of position. To be honest with you, we probably did everything wrong though. We didn't do due diligence on each other. Now, would not go into business with anyone else now, looking back. But we probably didn't do the right due diligence, but we just knew in our core that because we've spoken about this a few times, been like, oh, you got to do due diligence when you get into business because it can be dangerous. But both of us just knew in our core that I guess it would work. And I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why we went. I think it was just because we just at that time were both like, well, I always knew Frank worked hard. I probably knew that both of us were too ignorant to work out that, or too stupid to actually go, well, this is going to be really fucking hard, but both of us won't quit. So we just chose each other. I don't know. I don't know if there's a science around it. I think we just got lucky and it was just right place, right time. We thought, yep, hey, I'm going to start this thing. And Frank goes, cool, let's do it.
I think there's something about gut feel as well. Like, you're right. You're supposed to do due diligence and kind of like see who the person is and what their background is. But you've known each other since you were 14. So like, how much more due diligence could you really do? And then if you have that gut feel of like, I reckon we could start a business together and we'd be all right. Like, it's just a gut feeling. And you guys have obviously done all right out of it. So
100%.
Could have gone horribly wrong.
I had a good feel. Like I knew there's people, I've got a lot of close mates and there's a lot of them I won't work with at all. Like I would say all of them, age is the only person. So that's when I wrote, for me, it was different. I wrote that goal and I was like, I know going down this path, if I do start a business, that's the person I wanted to be with. And it happened to be. So, awesome. I think it was just the way things happen, I guess. If you visualize it and believe it's going to happen, it will happen.
Cool. Well, speaking of due diligence, when you guys did sit down together, did you formalize some form of like roles or like what one person was going to do and the other person was going to do, or responsibilities, or were you just kind of like, let's just go together?
No. I always refer to the same story of when we started the business in 2019. Frank and I went away and we went to Dandenong Ranges.
Yeah.
Dandenong Ranges. And our business plan, everything, you can throw all the books and all the things that you should have done when starting a business, we didn't do right. But all we did is we just wrote down like it was a massive A3 piece of paper. But we still have those things. And just like there's no roles, there's no org charts, there's no whatever. But the one thing that has been there from the start is being the best buyers agency in Australia. And that's like still the vision now. And we will definitely get there. But no, to answer your question, we didn't do any roles, anything. I don't even know when the roles came in. When did we actually...
Look, I think 2021, we got a business coach because we were going down that path, learning about all this and hearing that you can shortcut your journey. We got a business coach and that's when we started learning about the org chart, responsibilities. Because when we started out, I done some sales calls. I was on the sales calls. Age was doing some of them. I closed, the first couple. He closed the next couple. He was buying property at the beginning. Like he doesn't buy property now, but he was buying property at the beginning. And then I started buying it. I was like, okay, I'm buying it. And then we started saying, okay, you do sales, I do the buying and the operations.
Yeah.
But it was about 2021 when we started, to have some sort of structure. That's what we learned. Our business coach said, you need to build this thing from the ground up. You need the right infrastructure. There were good learnings like that. The responsibilities and the tasks that we need to do and the infrastructure was the most important part. So then we learned that off at the very beginning and then build the business to where it is now and then have all these problems.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys have done really well. So what did day one look like? Did you guys, like you said you quit your job and you just started together. What was the aspiration? What was the thing? How did you start? What did day one look like?
We lived together. You've got a much better memory, so please.
So in 2019, I quit in October. No, we didn't actually. So 2019 we started. Through 2020, we were trying to get the thing off the ground. 2020 December, we signed our first client.
So 1 year, no signing.
1 year, no signing. We were going before that in December in 2020 when we signed the first client up. We were going, this is when COVID was happening, yeah? So we were going to auctions and trying to go up to the second bidder that lost the bid and giving him our card and trying to sign them up. So that's what we're driving down in our car. We're going to all these auctions. We get
what car?
6. We had my old Toyota Hilux.
In suits.
We're trying to go down there and trying to sign up for people, and they're like just looking at us like, they're like, yeah. We got a couple. They're like looking at us like, you guys look like kids. And so we done that for that whole year. We started a Facebook page and a group and all that sort of stuff. So we started doing that, and we used to go live during that time. We had 0 people coming on the lives. We had no one, but we would go on Facebook groups, learn, give value to people. So we started doing that, and then eventually, a year goes down the road, and we see you get Anthony, our first client. We signed him up for like $6,000 back then. It was like just to get someone, and then we got another client in the same week.
Yeah.
And then we did another client for another 6 months. Then we didn't get another client after that for probably another 6 months, I reckon.
The first 2 years were just a
It was
shambles.
just a shambles.
You don't understand. I say this all the time, and I don't say that because I don't value who we are now, but it's literally two dumb kids, right? Like no idea about school, could not pay attention in class, no business education, like nothing. We should not be where we are now. And I don't say that as in like, oh, boo-hoo. I just say that because like any normal sane person who's starting a business for 2 years and not earning income should not continue to work. The only thing that we just kept doing, and I think the reason why we got most of the first clients is just because every single week, regardless, we just keep posting and just keep doing videos every week. And we still hold that today. We still do content every week. But I don't even... When did the shift come? Sorry, I think you were going to ask a question.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
talk about dedication. That's like nothing for an entire year. How are you funding this? Did you have like jobs on the side or something?
We had a job on the side from 2019 to 2020, mid 2021, sorry. So that's when we cut it. Our business coach said to us, he goes like, you guys are never going to get this off the ground. He just said like, he knew how he was. Like he was just saying, you guys aren't going to do this. You guys will never get this off the ground. He goes, you guys need to quit your jobs. If you don't quit your jobs, you might as well just keep doing what you're doing and just butting your head up against the wall.
Yeah.
And we just sat there and we looked at each other and we're like, you know what? Fuck this. Let's quit our jobs. We were doing a part-time role. We weren't making good money just to get us to pay the rent because we were living together. We said, let's go live together. By that time, I basically drained my bank account because we weren't paying ourselves for like 2.5 years. And we were lucky we had the COVID checks. So we had that as well.
750.
The
750 in Melbourne.
I remember, yeah.
So we had that. But then we quit our jobs and we said, let's just get this off the ground. We had employees and we were paying them before we even paid ourselves.
But that was a bit further on because then we obviously started getting clients, but it was like 3-4 a week. But so, I don't know why we continued, if I'm honest. And I've said that multiple times.
That is insane. So no clients for a year. You get 2 clients in the same month. When it rains, it pours, right? Like how crazy is that?
We're going nuts.
Was that was Melbourne out of COVID lockdown during that December period, or like what was the change? Do you think was there something specific that?
No, it was just people seeing us on socials.
Yeah,
That's all
consistency.
It was just videos and videos and videos. Like, yeah. I mean, obviously we were evolving as well, right? Like we were going, we were reading the business books and we're reading. So we were understanding, right? And obviously we had an addiction to this. It was the first thing. It was like, fuck, like, I mean, 2 months in, we literally said the best buyers agency in the business, a $10 million business, right? 2 kids who have no education. I say no education, I should say that, but have never been good at anything. Now there's this thing of like $10 million. Just in our mind, we wrote it on the thing, but that was like our driving force. And it's just obviously was perfect because it meant that we just weren't there was no quitting us.
I love that. You had the fight in you and you had the endurance. Like you stayed through 2 years with like 4 clients. That is insane.
Yeah, it's
like,
nuts.
Yeah.
Well done. That's crazy.
Been good.
It doesn't have to be that hard, I guess.
So, yeah, my next question was going to be like, did you ever feel like the business was going to fail? But I'm sure throughout that whole time you were questioning yourselves, right?
There's been multiple times. There's been times I remember we got the business off the ground and we started ads. And I remember Age walking in and we closed like 20 clients. We got ads going and we closed 20 clients in that month. And it was like, we went from literally making maybe 2-3 clients signing up a month to just 20. And then it just went downhill. And then because it was just like, funnels and things weren't working and all that sort of stuff. And Age is like, I remember you come into my room and you're like, I want to quit. I'm like, no. Go back in your room. You're forgetting about the purpose. Go back in your room. I go, we'll fix it. And there was times I come in and I said, man, this is hard. I can't do this. Like this. It's like we're not getting anywhere. It's been 2 years. We made like at one point we made 12 grand. Like we didn't even use that money. Like we didn't even put it in our bank account. We just spent it on the business and it just went nowhere.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of challenges. I think we just believed. I just knew faith. I was like, this will come off the ground. Well, the good thing is we always educated ourselves. We're reading all the books, listening to the business podcasts. We had a business coach. Eventually we got someone, but we learned from the mistakes. That's the most important thing. People don't learn from the mistakes and keep doing the same thing. We learned from the mistakes and then, we said, okay, let's do something else. And it started to work. And if it didn't work, okay, we'll find out a way why, or look at that and just ask why. Why is this not working? So that's what I think we're good at. And we're good at as well delegating. We're not good at certain things. And, most business owners get their back up and be like, no, I'm the business owner, I've got to do everything, But we're like, no, someone else is better. Bring him in. Hey, you got the responsibility to do this, and that. And we act dumb and we don't know. We're like, oh, you're smarter than me, you do it. And they'll be like, oh, sweet. And they'll take control, and we let them take control, of course.
Yeah, I think one thing that's so undervalued as like having a partner is just being that bouncing ball to each other. Like I've had moments and days in my business where I've had a shit month or a shit week or something's blown up, and I go and take it out on the missus, right? Like you guys are lucky that you got each other to kind of perk each other up and motivate each other and get into the same good train of thought and push each other back onto a thing. Do you think that's going to been a real strength for you guys?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I would have quit. I think both of us would have. I don't know about Frank. Frank's as stupider than me in the best ways, in like he would just keep going and he just won't stop. But I think I definitely would have quit. Like I walked into your room, I think a few more times and been like, Frank, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I think I did. You came in a few times, but I was like, this is too much. This is too much pressure. There was financial stresses. Like we haven't even got into some of the financial problems we've had in the business, and that's like 2.5, 3 years in. So that was probably the most stressful time. But yeah, I think I would have quit if I'm honest. I think I would have quit if it wasn't for Frank.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
So we're 2 years in. We've got signed 4 clients. What did staff member or hire number 1 look like for you guys?
Roxanne, she's still with us now.
Really?
Yeah, so she's a virtual assistant. And she's just amazing. Frank's seeing her for the first time in a couple months' time, next month, because he's going over to the Philippines. But she was our first hire. She's now essentially the admin specialist, the admin manager. So she's got a little team under her. And she came on just to manage just the admin, because we were starting to bring on clients, 4 clients a month, and sales calls and all the other projects that you're doing. Like you do start to actually, there's quite a bit of stuff that was going on. So I think we brought her on initially for admin and like social media, like very basic social media, right? We were doing the social media, which is like not a good thing.
But she was cutting it up and posting it for you. And doing the rest of the
just
stuff.
that. All the admin, I think all the invoicing. Now she manages like the finance side. Like she's very, very, she's awesome, but she's still with us. Yeah.
That's lucky. I've had a few VAs and they haven't worked out the best. So to find someone good is awesome.
No.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky with the first one.
Yeah. And then a buyer's agent.
And so I think you were saying like you went from 4 clients to running ads, and then all of a sudden you were signing 20 clients. What was that like? Did that blow your mind?
Yeah, that's when I think the world opened up to us, really.
Yeah. It's staggered. It wasn't like 420.
Okay.
I think it was like 4. Oh, fuck, we signed 6 clients from Face Ads this month. Oh, cool. And then we signed 12 clients. Oh, fuck. And now we're at 20 clients. And it was like within like 3 or 4 months. Because the coach that we got, so we left our initial coach and then we went to our second coach who just like for 3 months just built out a whole like marketing funnel and then sales as well. So it was like perfect timing. We learned, I still obviously hold those skills now. But yeah, we built out like a world-class marketing and sales funnel, which we're very lucky we still have that now.
So would you say that a coach for you guys has been like a massive thing?
Yeah.
I think all the coaches have served their purpose, right? Ben Handler, we've worked with Ben one-on-one. We've worked with
Tony was good, Nigel was good. They've all been fantastic in different ways. They all got different skills, different traits. And yeah, that just, you learn from people that have made the mistakes and say, hey, don't do this. Not cheating.
2 questions. How do you know who's a good coach? Because there's a whole lot of shit that's out there. There's a whole lot of people peddling stuff out there on the market as a coach or whatever. So how do you choose your coaches? And then second to that, when do you know it's time to move on to a new coach?
Good question.
Good question. Really good question.
Or you want me to go?
I'll answer the second one on when I know, because I usually make that decision. You always have the gut.
I guess gut is very important. And so you need to understand, are they all, the authenticity, genuine people, and, they do the right thing. So I think that was like, I'm big on that. So I can kind of read someone straight away. So I think with Nigel, I could see that he just genuinely cared. Plus he had experience. So they have to have experience. You can't just like get someone that hasn't got experience. Nigel had a franchisee business for bicycle stores. I think he got to like 8 businesses, like 20 mil. And so it was like he learned, he done it. So, and we learned from him. And then we got to a point where he couldn't help us with marketing and doing ads. So like we started to say, okay, well, Nigel's great, but we've outgrown him. So then we went on to Tony. Tony had a great online business, huge online business. He had a great marketing system. And then we learned from him how to do ads and, grow that business. But then it got to a point, okay, we learned about marketing and ads, and you can never stop learning about that. But then we needed more about operations and people that, more about how they manage people, as Tony didn't have a big employee business. So then we said, okay, well, that's time to leave. Let's go with Ben. Ben Handler's, built up one of the biggest buyers agencies in Australia, or the biggest. And he helped us in every other shape and size of the company, from employees, how to manage leadership to, understanding how things work and what to look out for, roadblocks, what you're going to face. Yeah. And that was good because he's been in this industry as well. So that helped a lot. So yeah, I guess that's how I look at it. I'm not sure if you look at it differently.
No. I think just answering the second part of when do we know it's done? So we are like, you can ask every coach, right? I think Ben actually said it. He goes, I've never met two guys like you, as in, you are just like little dummies. I tell you what to do. By the next session, you've done it, right? Every single session we go with, and we've always been like this. Maybe this, or maybe us not being super intelligent is actually a blessing in disguise. I genuinely say it, right? We finish the session. We send the session to our leadership team, Rawad and Sebastian, our head of strategy, our CFO. We're in the little leadership team. We send them the session. We go the action steps. And then we go and attack them. By the next session, it's done. Whatever they've said, right? We know we are past a point by, hey, this person's not serving us anymore. If there's 2 to 3 sessions in a row, and it's like, guys, I don't really know if we're getting any value out of this anymore. We knew those answers. So we're very lucky. We've had awesome business coaches. Every single time, except for one, we've left and they're like, dude, I'm so happy for you. This is perfect. Even with Ben now. Ben, we've left and we're now on to the next person. We're very grateful that these guys are like, that's what a good coach is, right? You stay with them for a year, 18 months, if you're doing what you should be doing, you should outgrow them. But that's how we know it. If there's 2 to 3 sessions where it's like, fuck, we could have just come up with that ourselves while we're paying this person. I think that's the time we're like, cool, let's do it. And it's not just us. We value Rawad and Sebastian's input so much.
It's smart because, I don't think you guys are dumb by any means necessary. So if you could just stop saying that, that'd be great. But I think it's like you're pretending to be dumb to be smart. You got the playbook. They're telling you what to do. They're telling you what actions to take, and you're just going, all right. Leadership team, what do we think? What's our strategy? How do we execute on this? You go and execute and you do it, and then once you've outmaneuvered that person, you're like, okay, well, what's next? Where are we going to go now? I think it's genius. It's not dumb.
When I say dumb, right? So I do a bit of coaching, business coaching as well, and I'm coaching our CFO. He's kind of starting his own little business. I said, and now I've come up with this new theory. In order to be smart at business, this is obviously not true. So it's a bit of a shit talk. In order to be really, really good at business, you have to be dumb. That's my new belief. Where it's not dumb as in obviously dumb, but dumb enough to just be able to listen to someone. So all these, I coach a few of our clients. I think 3 of our clients. I coach our CFO. I coach a few people, right? And I say to them, like one of the first things in the first session, just be dumb for a month. I'll tell you what to do. Just be dumb. Don't analyze it. Don't tell this. Just do it. And it's very, very hard for people to do. Very hard. We don't have that problem because we're already at the point where like, just tell us, we'll do it, and we'll get it done. So I don't say dumb in a bad way, but yeah, I just think if someone tells us, if you tell me something, I'll sit here and I'll put it in my calendar and I'll say, I'll do that. Not too many people do that, whether it's ego, whether they think I can do a better way, whether they've got to analyze it too much. I just think it's an actual superpower of ours. That we get told what to do, we do it.
Yeah, I think it's a common saying. I can't remember who first said it, but someone said, the A grade students end up working for the C and D grade students, and it's a total thing, right? Like these guys, they go to uni, they study hard, they learn their thing, and then they're like super niched in this one area. And you guys have spent the last 5-6 years, 2 years working with four clients, and then the last 4 years your business has grown and you've started, and now all these people are coming from uni and working for you guys. Like it's a perfect scenario of it, right?
100%.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't say we're C and D clients though. That'd probably be the other thing.
Yeah, probably I was an F.
F and E. So when you're going through period of starting ads, you've gone from 4 clients to 8 clients to 12 to 20. How did the business change in that period? What are some things that you guys started to see? Did you go, we've got to grow the team really quickly? We've got yeah. Go on. Go with that.
No. Sorry, I was just laughing because this is where it all fucks up. Right? This is where it gets juicy.
You guys start. You know where I was heading.
Yeah, I mean, we had no idea about finances. I was tracking the finances. Remember the spreadsheet?
you were.
That horrible spreadsheet. So I was tracking the finances. We had no idea about finances. Obviously, we didn't know about GST. Like, we understood it, right? But we didn't know you had to put a portion there and taxes, blah, blah, blah. So we just went, cool. We somehow convinced my best friend, Road, who's there, to come and join us, which was, he's so intelligent, right? And he's so calculated. We somehow told him and convinced him to leave his corporate role to come and work with us. I don't know why he decided to do it when he looked it up, but anyway, he did. We brought on Tom, Helen, who else?
Tom, Helen, and I think there was Austin.
So we brought on 4 full-timers because of 2 good months. And that's when...
It went like this.
When we started... So that's the point where we lost 60 grand a month for 3 months out of our pocket. And then we were at the point where that was when we're at our knees. And then we somehow... Again, and all luck...
We're making it sound too good, mate. We had we had 3 grand in our bank account. Yeah. So it got to a point where we made all these hires and we hired a CFO that was just not like this guy was.
That's right.
Oh, he was a nightmare to work with. Like just taking months to look at our financials. Brought this plan to us and just we were looking at it going, what the hell have you given us this spreadsheet with numbers? That's when we met Sebastian. He came in. He saved our business. He works for the Treasury of Australia, so he's a CFO in that role for the government, so he's pretty high up. He looked at our financials and he goes, okay. He started working with us. The first month of looking at our numbers, because we're like, there's a cash flow issue. He's come to us. We've both got red eyes. We're going, we don't know what's going on. We're scratching our heads in the back. He goes, boys, you got 3 grand in your bank account. You got an ATO bill of 30 grand this month, and you got all these wages to pay. And we're like, and we actually, I think we hired a VA as well.
Yeah.
We had Ruby. And then we're like, fuck, what the hell are we going to do? He's like, he gave us a 5-step plan. He goes, you got to do this 5-step plan. We action the first 3. He goes, if the 3 don't work, we go to the last 2. So I forgot. You might know.
Stop marketing, stop paying your own wages, and get rid of 3 people tonight.
Yeah, 3 or 4 people. Or 3 or 4 people.
4.
And that's what we did. And then we just said we had to stop marketing, and lucky our backs got put up against the wall, and I think we signed like 15 clients that month.
Yeah, we went crazy.
Just organic, and we just had to stop everything. I think Rawad, who's in that corner right there, I think we didn't pay him for a month or 2, which we were very grateful. And
we had to call him up.
Yeah.
So think about that. So Rawad, the dumbest decision he still made to the date. Now it's very smart, right? Obviously, where he is now, but he left his corporate job, which he took a 30 grand pay cut. 30K pay cut. Left his job, most analytical, like not dumb at all, not like this, right? Left his job, came to us 3 months of being with us. I remember it was a Tuesday night. I called him up. I said, Rawad, we've got to let you go. He's my best friend. He's been my best friend for 15 years. We've got to let you go. And he just went, what are you talking about? He goes, let's rock and roll. Let's keep going. Hurry up. And that's when it's like, yeah. And now, obviously, 2 years after, we're in a very, very different position. He's part of the leadership team. We wouldn't be the business without Rawad as well. So we're losing 60 grand a month. 60 grand a month we're losing for 3 consecutive months. Shit was going in. Commissions weren't being paid. Like, it was just a nightmare. And then
we turned it around.
I just got goosebumps. You know those moments in life where like you can feel the emotion in the air with someone and you get goosebumps? Like, I felt that. It would have been such a hard thing to do, to call one of your best mates and be like, man, gotta let you go. Can't even pay her.
Yeah, it was tough.
Did you get rid of 3 or 4 others?
3. We got rid of 3. We laughed. I remember it was a night. It was like a Tuesday night.
It's like 7:30.
7:30, and goes, Sebastian was stressing out. Boys, you got to get rid of 3 people. And we said, All right, we had a laugh. We said,
laughed
watch
because
it.
we're sacking
We'll get
people.
it sorted. We'll get it sorted.
We're
Not
laughing,
because we're sacking people.
We laugh like, oh shit, we've got $3,000. What are we going to do? And he's like, you guys all right? We're like, yeah, we're all right. We'll work it out.
We'll get it sorted.
And we just got it sorted. It was quite funny and stupid at the same time.
Again, it's a strength though, right? Like me, after buying this house, I freaked the hell out. Like I can't sleep with more than 12 months worth of savings. And, you know, that's because I'm super analytical with everything that I do. But to have that moment to just look at each other as business partners and go, well, $3,000, it is what it is. Like, we just got to do this. We got to rock and roll. Like, that's such a strength. And I think it's kind of underpinned your success today, right? Like,
it has.
It's such a big strength.
Yep. I think I said that to you as well. You and I, when I said like some of one of the biggest strengths with us, maybe because, you know, we were kind of miserable before this whole journey started. We were not very intelligent. We've both got I say crippling insecurities. I mean, we've worked out of it, right? But we've actually both been at a time when, you know, we've lost $60,000. Like our business was on its knees. And I think you mentioned it. You went like, you know, I didn't have a great month this month. I'm like, so a strength of ours is that we've been at the worst point. So if we don't have a bad month, we're like, fuck, we're cruising. We're rolling here. What's going on? I mean, we're very lucky now, all right? The business is firing, but like, yeah, I think your pain can, if you have the ability to look at it and go, that is such a benefit. And I think that's what we are really good at. If we look at our pain, all of our pain, I'm not just talking about business, I'm talking about life. We've had horrible, horrible pain, and flip it to a benefit or flip it to a positive. I think it's it's very powerful. It's powerful.
Yeah, you guys have done so well. So, what did you shift to? So it was negative 60 for 3 months. What did you get it down to? Was it just like break even or something?
As if for the month, what became like how we
When you
turned
came
around.
good, no, you said you signed 15 clients, right? So did that turn everything around from there?
Yeah, it did. And look, it didn't, like we couldn't pay ourselves still for a good, I think 4 months.
I think it was a bit longer. I think it was about 6. Anyway, 4, 6, whatever.
It was 4 or 6, something like that. But we turned around. We started, you know, okay, we still didn't put money in ads, and we just kept chipping away and kept doing what we're doing that was working. And then I think 3 or 4 months went down the track, and Seb's like, okay, you can start putting money into ads as well, but just slowly. Not we were spending like $20,000 at one point in ads, and we we're like just blowing money. It wasn't working, and it was just crazy, ludicrous. For the size of the company.
Which is a lot, for the size of the company. Obviously, we spend a lot more now, but for the size of the company, it was
crazy.
It was crazy. Like, we were getting Rawad, who came in for marketing to do, what I don't even know what you were doing. I don't even know. Well, yeah, ads, but no, when the ads were off, you were just like managing. I don't know.
I remember actually, Rawad done an analysis 1 year. So 1 year when we were at our worst point for how the ads were performing, and then 1 year after how they were performing, I think the ROAS was high, like strong. I'm not going to reveal the numbers because there's probably people watching this, but ROAS was like double, and I think our click-through rate was something like astronomically higher as well, and the cost to spend to get a client was through the roof back then to the 1 year later, and we're spending less money. So it was like we just transformed it in that sense, but it was just like showing it. We were just blowing money like it was like going out of fashion.
But literally also I think we just didn't have systems in place to collect money. We were doing it at settlement. Like, it was just we just didn't understand cash flow problems, right? But when it actually, to go back to your question, when it actually got turned around, which I think it was just our backs to the wall, and we're just like, okay, no ads. We didn't pay ourselves. Obviously, we ended up paying. Rawad came back in, and we started paying him. I think we missed 1 month's payment. I think that's what it was. Maybe not even. We just had our backs to the wall, and because it was highlighted, because we now had Sebastian, he was highlighting what we had to do every month, and it was just like, boom. All right, let's just go. Let's just get re-sign ups. Let's just do what we got to do, and we just ended up, just getting out of it, and then obviously now it's a very, very different world.
Was like the following months just still continuously organic signups?
Everything was organic, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was no ads. So there was no ads for like 4 to 6 months, I think. 4 to 6 months. There was no ads.
How that story's changed today. See your ads
Fuck.
every 5 minutes. That's cool. And so were you a little bit more like coming out of that season, were you a little bit more level-headed in terms of how we actually going to have this hierarchy of the business and structure people and hire people well? Like, has that whole thing, did you end up hiring some people that you fired, or like how has the whole hiring process changed for you guys now?
Process is just so different. Like, it's just so different. There's multiple interviews. there's reference checks, there's tests that they've got to do, there's there's a full on like onboarding process where like even when their first start date, it's like they've got to do a nice presentation to the team. So it's just like, obviously it's very, very different to what it was back then. I still to this date, I don't actually think that we've hired bad though. I think maybe there's 1 or 2 people that we've hired bad. We're pretty good at like just the gut feel. Frank's a lot better. I usually say Frank and Rawad are a lot better than what I am. But we haven't, like, hiring has never really been a problem for us. And we've got a very, very loyal team because we give a fuck about them. And I think they give a fuck about the job and they care for the industry because it's an awesome industry, right? So I don't think actually hiring has ever been a problem, but the process now of bringing someone on and getting them part of the team and everyone calling them on the first day and the culture side of things I think has improved a lot.
And so you're at 15 now. Has that been a slow progress to get back up to a higher number? Not that you were there before, but like, has that happened slowly over time? You've taken a more progressive approach to hiring people, or have you had like another big couple of months and been like, oh, let's get 5 more?
No. We can't even talk about like Sebastian is probably alongside with Rawad. I mean, alongside with everyone, right? The most important hire that we've ever brought in. Like we have a complete plan of when this person's coming in and when someone's going to take over Frank's role. Like we have everything planned out.
Yeah, we don't just go hire when we want to hire. It has to make sense financially, and that's where Sebastian will build out a plan and he'll forecast it for the 12 months and be like, okay, this is when this person can come in and that person there, and this is when we're going to need this, and okay, this is when it makes sense. But if we don't hit these numbers, we can't do that.
That's right.
So there's KPIs, there's measures, there's goals to hit. If we don't hit them, well, we're not doing nothing. So, which is good because we need that, because otherwise, if we don't have clarity, we'll go back to where we were before, in 2022.
Which I don't think we'd get there.
Nah.
We'd never get back there again.
We won't.
Well, my next question was going to be like, what are 1 or 2 things that has completely changed your business or helped you grow in the business? And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like Roard and Sebastian together, 100%. Like people, number 1. And number 2 is just process, like actually having a process around like everything that you do, the way you structure things, or your sales process, all that sort of stuff. Would you guys say the same, or has there been some other things as well?
Definitely people. Like our leadership team I might be biased, but I think we are like, we've got everything. Like we constantly say we could start a business. We've got finance, we've got operations, we've got marketing, we've got sales in that leadership team. To the point whereby like we left Ben Handler, the Best Buyers agency, right? And we left that because we had all the answers in-house, right? So that's, I think that, but even the wider team, like the wider team's amazing, right? I think definitely people, but yeah, I mean, I guess I would say, I don't know if I would say processes would be the second biggest thing. I would say investing in actual, or being dumb, but that's not really answering your question. Like investing in just constantly learning. I don't know if that's answering to the question of, I would say investing in actually learning and always actually learning, like a lifelong journey of us learning.
100%.
Part of like every single week we will have a project time, both of us, really the whole team, and it's watching something or reading something and it's just implementing that something. I think if that goes, I think 1, we're probably not going to be where we are, but then 2, I just don't think we're going to get to where we want to get to. If we just stopped our learning, I personally think that we wouldn't be anywhere near where we want to be. I don't know if you've got anything.
Yeah, I think business coaches did help a lot. I do agree with the processes because we can walk away from the business for 2, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and they'll still run. And that's where Nigel came in and he taught us about that. And I think the book E-Myth, he got us to read. I'm not sure if you've read E-Myth. Yeah, you have. And like that just opened our mind, and we just started reading all these other books about processes, systems, and we're like, okay, if we want this thing to grow, you need to have systems in place. So that's very important. And then of course, learning from other people that have done what you've done or done other things that have been astronomically more bigger than what we've achieved, and learn from them.
Yep. And
learning, growing. We just constantly reading. I couldn't read when I was 26. So I taught myself how to read. And then I read 19 books that year. The next year I read 25. Then the year after I read 35. And Adrian was the same. He's just reading as well. And we're just reading, implementing. That's the most important part, taking action. you can read a book and put it down, but we actually took action. So I think that's where we stand out, I guess, or every entrepreneur that's successful and makes it work is, taking action and making sure it works. So of course it's not always going to work, but I think learning from those failures and saying, hey, let's not do it again. And that's what we've done. Like, we nearly lost the business, learned from it, put processes in place. Sebastian came in, we had systems that we didn't have that were not in place, and we were doing everything, wearing all the hats, learned how to, fix that. So I think it's just a whole bunch of things. You can't say one or two. You can say one or two things, but I think it's everything together.
Yeah, in combination.
Yeah.
But education and learning is such a key one. And not like everyone can read 50 books a year, right? But taking action on something. Like, I've actually stopped reading. I used to read a book every week and like listen to podcasts at the gym and like do all that sort of stuff. I've actually stopped, done all that, and just gone like, well, what are the 5 key books that are like really impacted my thought process? Let's revisit them every year. And what are 3 key books that I want to improve in my current business or current journey, and just go, let's just read those, pick one that's resonates with me, and then add that to the list of 5. And it's just like, keep it simple. You don't have to like go crazy and learn everything. So I think it's spot on. You mentioned there, like, now you're able to go away for 3 or 4 weeks and the business can still operate. So how do you feel like your roles have changed over the years? Like, from both doing sales, not having roles, just doing everything. Have you defined those roles now, and how's that grown as the business hierarchy's grown?
The org chart. The org chart was a good realization of, okay, you need to be in different hats. But realistically, I'm sales, Frank's operations, Raward's marketing, Sebastian's finance. Then you got the buyer's agents team who kind of direct to Frank. Like, it's prim and proper. I always say we're not a big scary corporate company, but now it is a corporate company, right? Because you have to be a corporate company. So yeah, but I again, this goes back to team. I'm good at sales. Frank is good at research. It would be stupid for me to be taking on Raward's job, who's amazing at marketing and amazing at strategy. So that's why we brought Raward in. And now I'm just dedicated to sales, obviously leadership, and there's a few other things, but yeah, that's it. Like, Frank manages the buyer's agency team, which is soon to be gone. He won't be doing that. He'll just be managing just research only. He's got a whole bunch of people reporting to him. I've got a sales team. Again, I'll kind of be moving off that in the next year, and they'll have a manager and whatnot, but that's it. Yeah. Sales, marketing, operations, finance. It sounds wankery now. Sounds too corporate for me.
Yeah, you guys are on the corporate ladder.
Bring it back to
People
road.
are coming-
Let's go
coming-
nuts and just throw it all everywhere.
But it seems like your culture and the atmosphere that you bring into your business is still quite casual, and you still have that heart, and you still want to be the best buyers agency in the country, right? Like, it's not like anything's really changed. It's just it's grown bigger.
Yeah, I think I love our culture, because the goal is to get everyone to where they want to go in life, and if Freshstart can be part of that, awesome. We constantly joke that we've got 40-year contracts with every one of our guys, but like, that's genuinely like how I feel. Like, I don't want anyone to ever leave Freshstart as an employee. No one's left yet on their own terms, right? Because I think we create a culture, and we're very, very open with it, right? Like, we're doing a whole bunch of things now, showing our employees the financials every month. Like, that's a big thing that we're looking at doing right now. Every month, this is what it is, like, being as transparent as possible. And I constantly have conversations with our team talking about like, what do you want to earn? What do you want to do? What do you want your life to be? Cool. Let's make Freshstart that place. You can be here for 50 years. I think that's how you get the biggest buy-in from your team.
You can't hold them back. And projects as well. Like, we want to grow the business, not just as a buyer's agency, but we want to start other things in the business. And some of the things that we want to start, we're probably not the best people to start it, but there's people in our team that would love to do that and take a responsibility or take owner of that project. So that there, we want to offer it to our workers, and some of them actually put their hand up and say, yeah, I want to do that. So which is great as well, because we want to bring this as not just a buyer's agency, but a one-stop shop.
Do a whole bunch of things in house, and I think that's cool. Like, if someone that you've hired has got aspirations to do something different, or create another side business within Freshstart, I think that's awesome that you can provide that opportunity for them as well. Like, provides career progression for them and allows them to want to stick with you for longer.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, cool. Culture is important, like you probably know as well, with your team. If you don't have the right team, that can make you or break you, really.
A players, mate. It's all about A players. So what does work-life balance look like for you guys now? Like you've got the business, you've been through the tough years. You haven't done the hard you've done the hard yards, but you're still working in the business, and both now have your own independent hats. And over the next 12 months, as you said, there's going to be another layer to that, and you'll have a little bit more autonomy and freedom. Have you found that kind of work-life balance starting to come into play now?
Frank's always been better at that than me, I think. But now I'm starting to get into it because Frank's got me into two very big things, triathlons and to golf in the last 6 months. So I'm starting to enjoy a bit more. But we definitely do have, I think we have pretty good work-life balance. Like, I mean, let's not get it twisted. We still work out 50, 60 hours a week, but it's not 100.
Before it used to. When we used to live together, it was just work.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of changed.
I remember I'd be on the phone to one of you, and someone else would be in the background like, no. Like, do you guys ever stop? Like, it's crazy.
But it's good now. I think it's healthy. Like we still try. We live very healthy lifestyles. We train every day. We you eat dinner 7 o'clock. Like it's not sick. I think it's fine. 50, 60 hours. I think we did it yesterday. 60 hours.
Yeah.
As if we've mapped out his calendar. 60 hours. I think he does a week. 55 to 60. It's rookie numbers.
It's funny how, like, when I look back on my calendar and I'd see, like, there'll be a space from, like, 7 p.m. when someone goes down to 9 p.m. where, like, I'll allocate to calling back people or doing emails or something. And you wouldn't normally consider that work, but it is work, right? So, like, when you look back, 50, 60 hours is actually pretty easy to do. You wouldn't usually think. Even, like, social media and scheduling a post and, like, all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? You don't really realize it, but it's work. And so you're putting in the time still. It's just different time.
Yeah.
So for people who are kind of in your early phases, in your early stage, where you just came together, you didn't know what you were going to do, but you knew that you wanted to start a business, is there any specific advice you would give to them to kind of get through the tough years, the hard yards, to stick together, to push through? Is there anything that kind of really resonated and got you guys through?
I think I have this saying, it's the pain has to be bigger than the fear. The reason why I say that, and people might listen to that and go, that doesn't make sense, is the fear will always hold you back. And a lot of people are stuck in fear. But when you get burnt, what happens? You try to put it out. So you get burnt your arm, you're trying to put it out. You're trying to, you're trying to move that arm. You're trying to put it out. And when you're going through life and the things aren't working out, you're going to have fear. It's going to hold you back, insecurities, all these sort of things. And so it just happened for us that the pain was just too unbearable. And I said, I just hated the person who I used to look in the mirror at and say, I actually used to spit in the mirror and say, I was just I'm just hopeless. Had no confidence, had learning difficulties, wasn't good at, like, I love sports, but I was always the worst player on the team. I couldn't speak to girls growing up at school. I had insecurities, crippling insecurities, but I had enough of that. When I got to 26 years old, I said, no, I've got to change this. And so I went through all that pain, and that's when you change. So I think in personal life and in business, you got to go through those moments, and I think you have to push through. You have to have faith. I think faith is super important. If you don't have faith and believe of what you're going to do is going to become a reality one day, then you're going to fail. We have people, our clients, go, how did you start this and not give up? And we're like, because we believed in it, but as well we had faith. Like, we knew there was times, yes, we wanted to quit, but we knew as well the big picture and the purpose is that this was going to become a reality one day, and we truly believed it, and it is. And we weren't going to give up. You can't give up. If you give up, you quit. If you fail, like if you make a mistake, that's okay. Just learn from it and try again. It's not like school. You fail the test, you don't pass. But in life, that you fail all the time, and you're not a quitter. You just learn from it and start, pick up where you left off and go again. So, yeah, I think that's, for people watching or listening to this, I guess that's, you don't have to be gifted. You don't have to be intelligent and have a high IQ. You don't have to come from a wealthy family. Where you are now, you can make it work. You can make this reality. And of course, entrepreneurship is not for everyone, but I think it is really at the same time. I think I wasn't like that from growing up. I didn't have those skills. If you go back when I was early 20s and in my teens, I didn't have any of these skills. But I obsessed and said, I hated my life. I want to change it. I want to do everything I can. And I just obsessed on it. And I learned and I learned and I learned. I listened. And I implemented. And then it just happened. And so everyone can do it. Every single person can do it. It's just how bad you want it.
And how much pain you're in.
I love that. That's amazing.
I think you're right. I think that, and to go back to your question as well, I don't think business partners need to be together. We've heard some horror stories of business partners going together. If it's not working, get rid of that as well, right? We've heard literally horror stories. So I think you mentioned something about, if you're going through it and you're together, don't always think that it's the right thing, right? You might not be a good match. We got lucky. I think we got lucky. We didn't do any due diligence, right? You go read a book on how to choose a business partner. Probably wasn't the best way to do it. Hey, I like you. You want to do it? Let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think exactly what you said. Have faith and be dumb. And I genuinely mean that. I don't mean be dumb as in like go smash shit over your head and go around, but
Did you just say chicken?
no, go smash shit over your head.
Oh,
and
I
go
thought
be
you
dumb,
said
right?
smash chicken over your head.
No. But be dumb. Be dumb for a period. When I say be dumb, just don't consume. Don't overanalyze, and just do. That's what we are so good at. We've literally had all 3 business coaches that we work with, 4 now, just said, "Oh, you guys are pretty good. I tell you what to do and you do it." Isn't that why you would pay someone to do it? So anyway, I think those are the 2 things: be dumb and have faith.
Is that saying? What's that saying? Yeah, you probably know. It doesn't hurt to try, but it hurts not to try, or something like that. Probably pushing it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
if you don't do nothing and you didn't give it a crack, it's not going to work. But if you give it a shot and it doesn't work, okay, you learn something.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Peterson's got this quote that says, "The best thing about life is that you're all in. Like no matter what you do, you're all in on life. This thing is going to kill you, so you may as well just play the best game possible while we're here."
That.
Yeah,
right.
I like that.
It's so true.
100%.
Boys, what a story. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for coming on and opening up and sharing everything. I think it's a crazy journey. I love that you guys are still like stronger than ever and working together, and you've like gotten through all the hardships and actually built a really successful business. So well done.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, mate.
Thanks for Age as well.
Thank you.
I love it. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, brother.